but there's been a distance a couple of times. And then he pulled up a big away win in March this year by split decision over 10 rounds against a 23-0 Nestor Bravo. That was on the undercard of Subriel Matias against Gabriel Valenzuela. So that has really given him a little bit of a shot in the arm, but he was happy to take this. He knows that Bachkov brings a big reputation, but he knows that also in the pro ring, he is the more experienced of the two.
Welcome to the gold corner from Armenia, Hovhannes Bachkov.
Bachkov's pro career has been a little bit of a slow burn as an amateur. He was a nearly man. He won't thank me for saying it, but he was, because he picked up 4 bronze medals in Amateur World Championships, an Olympic bronze medal as well, and he was around in the 60-kilo division at the same time as the likes of Andy Cruz and Keyshawn Davis, and he kept running into them in the semi-finals and losing good fights. And then he ran into an Uzbek fighter called Ruslan Abdullayev in the World Championships in 2023, who has turned pro now, a very, very good fighter. There's a lot to like about him. He's undefeated as a pro, and if he can get regular activity, then he can really start to move. He's got that kind of style where he hasn't really needed to change it all that much from the amateurs. He's just had to adapt it to the longer duration.
Ladies and gentlemen, your officials. Supervisor, WBA from Spain, Carlos Chavez. Supervisor, IBA Pro from Moldova, Maxim Chertykovsev. 3 judges at ringside scoring this title bout. From Panama, Tadeo Rodriguez. Also from Panama, Gustavo Padilla. From France, Stefan Nicole. Timekeeper, Serdar Hamraev, Turkmenistan. And the bell rings, your refereeing judge from Italy, Luigi Boscarelli.
Introducing, in the black corner, 35 years old, 171 centimeters tall, 64.3 kilogram, professional career of 33 wins and 6 losses, WBA Intercontinental and IBA World Tournament winner, from South Africa, Xolisani Ndongeni.
Ladies and gentlemen, and his opponent at wrestling, fighting out of the gold corner. He's 32 years old, standing 173 centimeters tall, weighing at 63.5 kilograms. He's perfect professional record, 7 victories, including 6 big wins coming by way of knockout, no losses. Ladies and gentlemen, he's Tokyo Olympic Games bronze prize winner, 2-time European champion, and 4-time Romanian national champion, representing legendary Golden Ring Club Dubai, representing Gyumri Armenia. Here is Hovhannes undefeated Bachkov.
So there's the introductions, and in the corner there with Bachkov is Albert Arapetian, who will be cornering Albert Badagaziev. Jazza Dickens, I beg your pardon, later on against Albert Badagaziev. He's had a few trainers, Bachkov. It's been that kind of a career. He was with Danny Vaughan for a while. He's based out in Dubai, actually. And then Manny Robles, he would travel over to California to train with Robles, who rated him very, very highly. As our announcer said, he is also a 2-time European amateur champion, but he's looking to really try and make his mark in the professional ring. Keeping the two going concurrently, which he has done, is possible these days, of course, and very tempting because of the prize money, but it's difficult, Spencer, because we've seen with someone like Jalolov as well, the big Uzbek super heavyweight, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and he's done more than he has there as a pro, because you can't give both of them full force. It's not really doable, is it? And it'd be good with someone like Bachkov just to see him get really active and to see what he can do, because he's 32 years old now.
Yep, absolutely. 7-0 as a pro, 6-0's inside the distance, and like you say, Andy, it's all about opportunity and being gifted that opportunity. He's not had that yet. 32 years of age, tried to put the foot on the gas But as you say, he does have a wealth of talent. Very unfortunate as an amateur to come up against the quality that he did, but still achieved a lot, and he's looking to kick on now. And a great opportunity against a very experienced opponent.
Decent jab there from Bachkov. Ndongeni right at the very start. Look for that long right hand and did manage to land it. But this is what Bachkov does. He's got that tight guard. He drops the elbows in, manages to cover the head and the torso. He'll dip those knees. He'll keep that front foot pressure on you and look to work in that kind of tight semicircle around you.
Yep,
it doesn't look all that explosive, but it's just constant. That front foot pressure is constant.
Walking his opponent down, just making him work all the time. Physically very strong. Controls the space well, and as you say, unusually long arms. He gets to cover the top of his head there, and the elbows tucked in as well. Very difficult guy to break through that defence, and counters very well, and that's all about the timing there. Keeps those hands well. See that half a little step back, just looking to counter, and Ndongeni has to be careful with that.
And of those stoppages that he's had, a good number have come with body punching. That left hand to the body in particular that we saw there, that brought a smile there from Ndongeni. He's looking nice and composed in there. As you mentioned, Spence, he is a very experienced fighter. He's been in with some good names. He won't be intimidated by Bachkov, not one bit, but he'll have to find a way to discourage Bachkov, to catch him, hit him hard enough on the way in to make him respect the power that he has. That's the challenge, really, against somebody like this.
Absolutely, and Ndongeni has to be very clever, very cautious, and choose when to throw those attacks, because Bachkov just stalking forward, making him work, pinning, taking him from corner to corner. Dangerously uppercut there. Just look at the shot selection, switching the attacks to the body as well. Ndongeni going to be put under a lot of pressure tonight, that's for sure.
So closing stages of round one. Bachkov looking to try and let go with that right, followed by a left, but good defence there from Ndongeni. Blocked the first one, took the second on the shoulder. And not much in that opening round. Ndongeni throwing plenty, mostly keeping it a little bit longer, a little bit on the outside. And there is the aforementioned Naomi Campbell next to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford could look a bit more excited about seeing next to Naomi Campbell there, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I think he's just playing his cool cards, isn't he? He's keeping his cards close to his chest. Yeah, I mean, he's a cool cat, Terence Crawford. He's been brilliant out here, actually. He's been very good, and talked about the fight coming up with Canelo Alvarez, how he's going to win that, a meat fire with fire. Everyone thinks he's going to box his way to a points decision. He's got other ideas about that, but there's something special, something very special. We don't get him coming around many times in a lifetime, but Terence Crawford is that guy. He's a guy that I believe would live with any welterweight in any era. I think he is that good. I've seen, you know, and if anyone's going to do it against Canelo right now, for me, it would be Terence Crawford.
It is a massive ask, but I absolutely do give him a chance. A two-weight undisputed champion, that's an extraordinary achievement in itself, but to jump up all the way to super middleweight and take that crown from the Mexican would be astonishing, frankly, but it's set to be an incredible occasion. Into the second round here, Bachkov looking to try and let go with that left hand early in the round.
Yep, just looking to create an opening here, Bachkov, as he stalks forward. Look at that lovely short right hand on the inside there as well. Yeah, stalks forward, hands held high, but very cute in his movements, just slipping from side to side, and if he sees an opening, the execution's brilliant.
Just firing that lead left, that long right here on Ndongeni, doing the right thing, just trying to keep Bachkov off him, keep him at distance. Bachkov in and out with the front foot, dipped his knees and then whipped that right hand into the body. That was clever.
Yeah, you're right, Andy, and Ndongeni is coping well under this pressure, though. He looks very comfortable. Lovely little 1-2 from him there as well.
There's that left to the body and then hooked up to the head off the back of it from Bachkov. He's landed a couple of solid shots on Ndongeni. He's taken them well enough.
He's not having a bad round, though, Ndongeni. He's letting the shots go. He's trying to match Bachkov for the shots.
That left hook upstairs just moved Ndongeni a little bit. Again, he was down to the body, then up to the head. And that's his signature kind of move, really. And then plants that jab just straight through the guard. He's just upped the tempo a little bit here in the second minute of this second round here, Bachkov.
He really has. He's a physical presence about him, isn't there? He's sort of controlling that space very well, making Ndongeni work very, very hard. Got caught with a shot there, though, and Ndongeni landing a lovely little short left hook over the top. That will give him hope.
And that's good from Ndongeni. He just stepped off to his left-hand side, landed the left to the body, then fired in with the right. That's good from Ndongeni again. He was backed up to the ropes. Bachkov looking to try and pick a punch and was maybe just slightly laboured about it. And he fired off a 2-3 punch combination.
Yeah, not having a bad round here in Ndongeni. He's putting the shots together well. And just as I say that, Bachkov comes in with a lovely uppercut, switches the attack to the body as well.
Final few seconds of round two, Bachkov with a right-hand lead and then walks back to his corner, even though the bell hasn't actually gone yet. He's decided that the round has ended. I think it's going to any time now. There we go. It's an interesting round, that, because Ndongeni did some good work in that round, but Bachkov did up the pace, didn't he? And he's always looking to make you work harder than you want to work. And in the mould of some other fighters we see from Eastern Europe, Central Asia down the years, they just look to click things up round by round, increase the heat in that kitchen and see if you can stay with them.
Yeah, and I think that was the difference between winning and losing that round there. The Bachkov just knew when to turn the screw, and he had that little spell, that little moment, landed the eye-catching shots. Ndongeni, he played his part in it there. He was solid and he coped under the pressure very well, but the eye-catching stuff coming from Bachkov and maybe just seeing that on my scorecard as well. Interesting contest this one. You feel there's still a few twists and turns to come, but high quality.
Round three.
So into the third, Xolisani Ndongeni in the black and gold, Hovhannes Bachkov in the white and gold. They're scheduled for 8. In the super lightweight division.
Bachkov starting this third round like he started the first two, on the front foot, stalking forward, trying to make Ndongeni work at a pace that he doesn't want to work at. But Ndongeni has had his moments in that second round. He can try and build on that, although he was caught with a good right hand over the top there, though. And there's a good response.
Just set his feet and let his own hands go. And this is at a really interesting point in this fight, because Bachkov, as we say, is trying to bring that heat. Ndongeni will have felt it at times. He's been hit clean a couple of times. The left hook maybe moved him a bit in that previous round, but it could be that he's thinking to himself, this is okay, power-wise, this is not a particularly big problem, and maybe I now need to try and put a little bit more mustard on my own shots. You don't want to get into some kind of a trade-up with Bachkov, but you don't want to let him dictate terms either, and this is getting interesting.
Well, you say you don't want to get into a sort of trade-up with him, but Ndongeni, is taking it there, and he's trying to have a trade-up with the body shots. Andy, I think have got through here. He's felt the weight of one of those. Left hook went under the elbows there.
A right hand came back there from Ndongeni. He was round about the hip. I think he was just trying to land anything he could to take a bit of steam out of Bachkov. And just as I was saying it, he did seem to want to try and open up. A couple of uppercuts have had an effect there. You can see the legs just loosen slightly. A long right hand and another right hand lands, and he's banging trouble here. And Ndongeni in the corner, looking like they might be about to throw the towel here. The trainer was just off his seat away to my right hand side, but he's getting worked over here. He really is. I said it was at an interesting stage, and it's proved to be just so. And Bachkov, he lays that groundwork. He did that for the first couple of rounds, but he's got accurate, spiteful hands. And if Ndongeni can ride this one out and make it through to the end of the round, then he will have done well. It's going to take a lot out of him this round, though.
Yeah, it certainly would have. The body shots were key there. from Bachkov. Ndongeni, oh, body shot slams in again, and to be fair, he's showing character, he's gritting his teeth, biting down his gum shield here, Ndongeni, because there was a moment there where I thought he was unravelling and he might come to pieces, but he's regrouped a bit.
It absolutely did look like that. He did well to stay up from those couple of uppercuts. Every now and again, you just see the kind of rigidity leave a fighter, and then they get it back together really, really quickly. The powers of recovery are amazing. Ndongeni just trying to pile in behind that right hand. Final few seconds of round 3, and there goes the bell. And an interesting round to watch that, because just as Bachkov got on top of him, I was wondering if Ndongeni was thinking to himself that he might be able to be slightly more ambitious himself, but maybe it's a case he just got a little bit greedy then, and he left a few openings and he paid the price.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Ndongeni, we know he's tough, he's got experience, he's been around a long, long time, and he needed that experience there. He showed a lot of character. As I say, the body shots were especially effective. They really went in, those body shots. The left hooks were being slammed in, the right hooks as well. Good round there from Bachkov, but Ndongeni, he regrouped Andy at the end of the round with about 30 seconds to go, got himself back in there and showed that there's still a lot of fire left in the dog.
Bachkov just up off his stool there, but the pressure from him is not going to decrease. I've seen him a lot, and he's not in the habit of taking rounds off, so Ndongeni is going to have to just dig in there, stick in there, and see what he can get done. Looks for a right hand early in the round.
Yeah, well, that's what he needs to do here, Ndongeni. If he wants to get himself back into this one, he has to gain the respect here of Bachkov. He needs to land something significant. He's got to be a little more creative, because Bachkov's stalking forward, hands held wide, covered the torso area well, and the head as well. So he's got to be creative, set some traps, try and draw the lead of Bachkov and make him pay.
And from Bachkov's point of view in that previous round, there was good composure from him, because he let his hands go, put those punches together. As you said, it looked like Ndongeni might be about to go, but he didn't. And he didn't go absolutely crazy, Bachkov, and empty the tank looking for the stoppage. He would have felt himself, maybe he's not quite ready. Didn't exactly pull off him, but just thought, I don't need to do it this round. There's plenty of time left yet.
Yeah, got to be careful you don't blow a gasket. And that's exactly what he done there, used his experience, Bachkov, because you know with your opponent, you feel them unraveling a little bit, you hear little noises on the inside, the little shots that go in, and that's when you know to put your foot on the gas. And he clearly never felt that one, and he's sensibly gone back to his boxing, because Ndongeni is a tough, tough cookie, and you can't give him any sort of opportunity.
That's a decent combination from him, but Bachkov tucking up fairly effectively. The corner were close to throwing the towel at one point. One of the seconds was on his feet, just a couple of yards away to my right-hand side with a towel in the hand at one stage off the back of those 2 uppercuts, but he came through it, Ndongeni, and he's giving a good account of himself in round 4 here so far, just over a minute remaining.
Yep, just trying to take the fight, the space away here from Bachkov, and that's what he needs to do. Bachkov has been predominantly on that front foot, and I think for Ndongeni, he needs to now take control of that ring, of that space, and make sure he doesn't get caught in the process.
That's the thing, isn't it? We spoke about this in an earlier fight. He does need to be aggressive. He does need to earn that respect, demand that respect, but in doing that, he will leave gaps, and that's what Bachkov wants.
Absolutely. And the body shot there again just slammed into the rib cage of Ndongeni. Lovely shot, but he took it well.
There's that ripping kind of left to the stomach there from Bachkov as well, who could maybe make more use of that jab, because there's no real tell on it. He just plants it straight out. There's no kind of twitch of the shoulder or elbow. Getting up towards the halfway stage here, but a good fight this, a good fight to watch.
Yep, high quality from both guys. And Ndongeni, he showed us why he's been around so long, why he's been boxing at such a level, because he's a tough kid. You know, body shots have been slamming in, he's taken them well. He unravelled a little bit, pulled himself back in the fight, and he's still in the fight. The scorecards for me, he's not really telling the story. I've got Bachkov now running away a clear leader, but that's because he's been catching the eye-catching stuff. The body shots have been especially effective, landing them well. No short uppercuts on the inside as well. Shot selection's been good. Another round in the bank there from Bachkov. As Jazza Dickens appears on our screen, we're going to be seeing him very, very shortly.
In with Albert Batakaziev. It's a very, very good fight, that. Batakaziev, undefeated Olympic gold medalist, the first pro actually to win an Olympic gold medal back in Tokyo 2020. I've seen him from ringside a couple of times against John O'Carroll last year, was one of them, and he's got a lot of tools. But there is something going on with the punch resistance. He's very offensive, and I think sometimes he walks into shots he doesn't really see. He's been clipped and touched down, not really been knocked down, but touched down 3 times in a couple of fights I've covered of his, very nearly a 4th time, and it occurred to me that if he walked onto one from a slightly bigger puncher, then you might go down and you might not get back up. So there are some vulnerabilities there, and Dickens coming into that off the back of a massive win, of course, against Zelfa Barrett. So that's our top of the bill. We're into the second half of this one, scheduled for 10, into round 5, in fact, between Hovhannes Bachkov and Xolisani Ndongeni, who again just looking to work those hands. Ndongeni, try and keep it nice and loose so he can punch without taking too much out of himself.
Yep, he knows he's got to do something here. If he wants to try and win this one, Ndongeni, he will know he's behind on points, and probably at this stage will need something really big, a knockdown at least, to try and turn this around. And to his credit, he's letting those hands go.
There's that short right hand from Bachkov. Just checking the chin there of Ndongeni.
Both guys just selecting to sit in the pocket a little bit here. Neither man wants to give up ground, although Bachkov is on the front foot, and Ndongeni, I think his idea was to hold ground. The screw shot just went through the guard there, just a nod of appreciation, never a good sign.
Left hand there from Bachkov, and that screw shot you mentioned, you could just see Bachkov just quicken up his feet and close in for a split second. I think he felt like he might have hurt this man slightly, and then I think had a look at him and changed his mind. Good body work there from Ndongeni.
Yep, caught with a big right hand though before his successes to the body. He's a tough guy though, isn't he, Ndongeni?
The original opponent here for Bachkov was Shojihan Urgashev, who pulled out with, I think, damage to his hand and injury to his hand quite late on. And Ndongeni, when I saw his name appear on the sheet, I did think that that was a good get, because he's a good fighter and he's a game fighter. He's not going to come here and tuck up and try and get through the rounds, and he absolutely hasn't tried to do that.
No, he's a great example of always keep yourself in shape, because opportunity does come, and there are too many fighters these days that have a fight and think they're going to have some time off, go and get out of shape, put on a bit of weight, and that's focusing too much then on losing the weight as opposed to what they're meant to be doing in their next contest. But Ndongeni has clearly kept himself in shape for when that phone rings, opportunity, and you've got to take it, and he's delivered well here, Ndongeni, and the scorecards are not reading, you know, in his favour, that's for sure, but he's certainly give it a go. Bachkov really dominated, not dominated, that's the wrong word, he's winning most of the rounds, and that's why those clear shots like that lovely screw shot through the defence there, nod of appreciation from Ndongeni. But look at the response there. He's a tough, tough cookie, and he really is.
What he's done well is he's just managed to keep those hands moving. He's managed to keep throwing and give Bachkov something to think about, to occupy him. He hasn't really managed to hit him and stop him in his tracks or hurt him. That doesn't really seem to be in his locker. And if it isn't, then you've got to do what he's doing. You've got to be busy. But as we've been saying, that means that you take a chance, because you might leave yourself open. And when you watch Bachkov, when you see him land, he just gets those leverages and biting points right so often, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and a lot of those punches might not look like the biggest shots you've ever seen, but they're having an effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, the ones you don't see are the ones that that have the effect. And he's very good at throwing little shots on the inside, whipping the body shots in as well. Bachkov is a good little fighter, but I'm loving what Ndongeni's doing here, because he's keeping himself in that fight, not losing heart, not losing spirit.
Going up and down with the jab, just flicking it up to the head 3, 4, 5 times, and then stabbing to the body. Does the same thing again there. And as we've been saying, that's what it's about for him. He's always giving Bachkov something to think about. Climbed into a lead left hook and then spun a straight right hand off the back of it, which did land, but it didn't really get a blink from Bachkov. And that's been the problem for Ndongeni. And there's not an awful lot he can do about it, is that power-wise, he hasn't managed to really register on his opponent yet.
Yeah, and you just wonder whether that power actually exists with Ndongeni. I just don't think that he carries that firepower. Lovely little short hook on the inside again there from Bachkov. Ndongeni took that shot well, but this is good action here from both guys.
Straight right hand there, and again from Bachkov, just pops through the guard. But Ndongeni back to the ropes. Every time he's felt he's back to the ropes, he's looked to try and throw, because he knows that he cannot stay there. The one time that did end up happening, he was in an awful lot of trouble.
Yeah, he can't get too greedy here. Ndongeni is sitting there allowing Bachkov to get off with those shots, but that's where Bachkov wants to be. He wants him in the pocket. He wants him to get greedy, sit there too long.
He's done well there, Ndongeni, because he's just punched his way off the ropes there, and Bachkov was happy to see him do it. But again, that's what the South African has shown us. A left hand there, quite high on the head from Bachkov. A slight misstep there from Ndongeni, but I don't think he was really hurt by it. Into the final minute of round 6. And since that torrid spell back in round 3, he's not had too many mishaps here on Ndongeni. Just doubling up on that right hand again, Bachkov, and barreling him back into the ropes. And I think he'll look to put it on him here in the final 30 seconds. And Ndongeni just a little bit wild. Bachkov making a dent here again, I think. And he's still got a bit of time remaining in the round. And Ndongeni needs to try and get off those ropes if he can. Just get a little bit tighter. Stepped into the open ring here, but again, he's straight back to the ropes. Final 10 seconds.
Yeah, big finishing around here from Bachkov. Good head movement as well. And he just feels he's in the right place at the right time. Ndongeni trying to punch with him there, and that was not the right thing to do. Chin come up in the air. Momentum was with Bachkov, and it was a great finish to the round. You know what, before that I was thinking, Ndongeni's not doing bad here. He's having a good round, he's landing some good shots. Just as you're thinking that, last 45 seconds or so to the round, that's what he had to deal with. Combinations, body shot going in. They've been landing from the beginning of this contest. And then those lovely short up combinations to the head. And they're travelling 6 inches, them shots, and then ones that you don't see, and the accumulation of them as well. So, trust me, they have an effect, and I think we saw that effect there with Ndongeni. He gritted his teeth and stuck in there, but that was not easy for him.
I think accumulation is the key word there, because that's what you're up against Bachkov. He is a volume fighter, and just as I was saying that Ndongeni had managed to not just survive but box a decent fight since that 3rd round, since that rough passage in the 3rd round, and it hadn't happened really again since. Right on cue, he managed to find a way through. It's that kind of critical mass, isn't it? And maybe as the rounds tick down, that point might arrive earlier in each round. That will be what Bachkov is hoping. And Ndongeni's got to just keep doing what he's been doing, which is showing a ton of heart, some decent technique, and good work rate. Because as soon as his work rate dips, then he's in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I think he's showing so much character in there in Ndongeni. He really is. I'm impressed, if I'm honest, because he's been under a lot of firepower. He's stuck to his games. Hasn't got disheartened, and he's still swinging, still hopeful that he can find something from somewhere, but it's going to have to be a little bit more of that. Let's see him go through the gears, maybe, change the angles.
But that was good from Ndongeni. Fired off the combination. Most of it was taken on the gloves from Bachkov, but it's occupying him.
That was a solid hook there. He says no, but trust me, he would have felt that one go right down to the soles of his boots. Lovely little shot.
Interesting to see Ben Whittaker on the far side of the ring there. He won a silver medal in Tokyo. He was on the same Olympic cycle as Bachkov. He would have been in and around him at international tournaments an awful lot. So it's somebody that he'll know well, a long way apart in weight divisions, of course, but you get very familiar with people. It was interesting watching Bachkov and Julio La Cruz and Erislandy Alvarez, the two Cubans, at the weigh-in yesterday. You box in those international tournaments, you see people from a distance, but you see them a lot, and so when you see them kind of more out of context, there's that knowing nod between everybody.
Absolutely, that nod, you know, that gladiatorial respect that they all have between each other. And I'll tell you what, those body shots are slamming in again there, and he's feeling the weight those. He can't even keep his arms up, and that will be because he'll be in excruciating pain. Those left hooks to the body in particular have been really, really effective, and you can see he's looking for it. Body shot again went in there.
40 seconds remaining in a round, and he's in a little bit of trouble here again on Ndongeni, I think.
He is. I mean, he's showing incredible heart, but trust me, he's in trouble. Smile that says it all.
A little bit of blood coming from the bottom lip there of Bachkov, and that might just encourage Ndongeni slightly, who does land a couple there, and just when it looked again like he might be about to come apart, he's just dug in and managed to land a couple. He gets a hold of Bachkov and makes it through to the end of the round, and that's what he's managed to do. There have been times where it's looked like the end might be relatively nigh, but he's just managed to fire up a combination, turn this man, get hold of him, and just get himself a few seconds. And if you're in good shape like he is, then that can be enough, can't it?
Mate, that's the experience that he shows, you know, that's why he's 33 and 6. You know, this is his 40th fight, he's a 40-fight veteran now, and you got to know how to get around the ring and, you know, how to maneuver your way through and not show when you're hurt, because trust me, he's been hurt to the body 10+ times to the body. I mean, badly hurt to the body. He's kept his, you know, he's kept his composure, hasn't shown any weakness, held it together. A couple of times we felt he's unraveling, and then, like you say, like, you know, give him 5-10 seconds, and he's back in the game. That's a sign of a good fighter, a solid fighter. But Bachkov is one of those young men coming through. When I say young men, he's 32 years of age now. One of those men coming through that's waiting for that opportunity, and he needs to deliver on a platform like this to get noticed, and maybe this could be the start of something very, very good for him. Bachkov, for me, way in front in this contest, not really telling the story, because Ndongeni has boxed very, very well and lands a lovely uppercut there at the beginning of the 8th and final round.
It's just the way boxing's scored, isn't it? You can win a minute of every round and you'll lose every round. It's as simple as that. On that basis, you should win a third of it, but actually you get nothing, and it's very, very harsh in that sense. Good right hand there from Ndongeni.
Yeah, landed a couple of nice shots here. And Bachkov has to be careful he doesn't switch off, take the foot off the pedal, because Ndongeni is one of those fighters that doesn't give up hope, doesn't lose his spirit at all. And look at him here, trying to push even in this 8th round and really giving it everything here. Impressive stuff here from Ndongeni, who's probably having the best spell of the contest so far.
He is, this opening minute of round number 8. He's done some good body work. He's got his feet nice and close, dug those toes in and unleashed some damaging looking shots, but there's a solid right hand high on the head from Bachkov, who maybe is feeling like if he just rides out this first minute from Ndongeni, then how long can he really keep this going for, is maybe what he's got in his mind. And Ndongeni's mouth just hanging open a little bit here midway through the round.
I was going to say, look how quickly the body language has changed around, and now it's in Ndongeni's time now to try and weather the storm. It's been an excellent 8th round, this one, an excellent contest, to be fair. Bachkov trying to finish in style, trying to get the job done inside the distance. He'll recognise, he can see the finish flag now.
So inside the final minute of the round, Ndongeni just switches southpaw, anything really just to try and confuse his man, to buy a little bit of time. Again, just sitting in those ropes. working that lead, left hand, pulling his weight onto the back foot and just making that jab of Bachkov's fall slightly short.
Yeah, good finish to the 8th round here from Bachkov. Oh, body shot slams in again. I felt the weight of that one down here. It was right above us in the commentary position. And Ndongeni shakes his head, and I think that he'll be thinking right now, where is that bell? Can't come soon enough. 20 seconds left in this 8th and final round. And what a fight it's been, what a contest it's been. Yeah, apologies, 10th round, but what a quality it's been up till now.
So there goes the bell and the touch of gloves between the two.
See, that was the confusion there. The boxers themselves thought it was 8. It was written down as 8 on my score sheet, hence why I thought it was 8. And I've got to say, I don't know if that changed mid-fight, that, because...
It did change mid-fight, but originally it was down as an 8-rounder, so I can understand the confusion there between these two. And Ndongeni seemed to think it might be over at the end of that 8th round, but when it was announced at the start of the fight, it was announced as a 10-rounder. Bachkov didn't seem too confused by that. And probably some wishful thinking on Ndongeni's part, to be honest, that they could go back to the original agreement and have an 8-rounder, because these last 2 rounds are going to be tough for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Ndongeni, I think he was giving it everything in that 8th round. You saw he rolled the dice for everything and the kitchen sink in that 8th and final round. And that may have been the one that turns it for him. So I think he truly thought that was the end of the contest there. And that's going to be difficult for him psychologically to pull himself out of that, because he left a lot in that 8th round there.
So 2 to go. Bachkov in the white and Ndongeni in the black. It's been a good fight to watch. And as Spencer's been saying, Ndongeni has put plenty into this. It's not like he hasn't had spells of success, because he has. He's thrown plenty, he's landed some good shots, but it's just that the weightier, more spiteful, more telling punches in every round, really, you would probably say, has come from Hovhannes Bachkov. A couple of times when it's looked like he might be able to put his man down or put him away, and Ndongeni has rallied very impressively, a couple to the body there and then a left hook up to the head.
Yeah, lovely work, wasn't it? Good left hook back there from Ndongeni, but the eye-catching stuff really coming from Bachkov there as he switched the attacks to head and body. And as I say, he's an experienced guy in Ndongeni, and he's going to need to use all that experience here, because when you think the fight's over and you think it's done and you're told it's to go another 2 rounds, that's a psychological thing that's difficult to get your head around, but he seems to have got his head around it. And he's got himself back into this one. I mean, great little contest, this.
Ndongeni unhappy about something there. I think maybe a little bit of a use of the head, or what he saw is that a stabbing left to the body, and then he looked for his left, and a right came back from Bachkov.
Yep, the left hook seemed to do a bit of damage there as well. Right hand sends the head back.
Very solid left hook again there from Bachkov, and another right, and this time Ndongeni does go down. There's well over a minute remaining in the round, and the towel comes in from the corner. The towel comes in from the corner. The referee hasn't seen it, I don't think, but he got back up on probably about 9.5, and then the referee waited over anyway. That's a good call from the corner to stop it at that point, because all that awaited him was another 4.5 minutes of the same, probably worse, because he was feeling the effects. And as you say, it was originally scheduled for 8, it was extended to 10. He's taken it at short notice, and when you combine all of those things and all the effort he'd already given us, we were getting to the point where I was thinking to myself as a neutral, I'd love to see him make it to the final bell, but only if he can just find a way not to take too much more stick, and then he was on the receiving end.
I'm not going to lie, when that 8th bell went and I saw them hugging in the middle of the ring, I thought, I knew what was going through Ndongeni's head there. He's thinking, I've done it, I made it to the end, I've come in as a substitute, I've saved the fight. You know, Bachkov's a world-ranked amateur, you know, and doing very, very well as a pro. Maybe the chairman of the Who Needs Him, Who Wants Him club at the moment. That 8th bell rings, and you're told you got another 2. Trust me, speaking as an ex-fighter, that is soul-destroying, right? And for him to come out and still deliver and still crack on, and then come apart the way that he did, I think he was glad the referee reached that count of 10.
the beauty and style queen of the world. She's amazing, Naomi Campbell.
So Naomi Campbell gracefully slides through the ropes.
Professional Boxing Federation President and member of the Board of Directors, Hovhannes Bachkov.
And along with the president of the Armenian Boxing Federation. In fairness, no one's looking at him, are they? No disrespect to the man, but everybody's looking at Naomi Campbell.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's have it right. Naomi Campbell's the last person you're going to expect to see here in Istanbul at this boxing show, but there she is. I mean, I was blown away. It was a pinch yourself moment when we saw her, when I heard she was here yesterday, and yeah, what an addition.
And that was a really entertaining fight. Ndongeni did himself proud there, gave a really good account of himself. And we saw what we normally see from Bachkov, and that was, again, a good, solid 8.5 rounds he's got under his belt there. And he needs to get as active as he can, because no one's giving someone like him a voluntary. He's going to have to work his way up the rankings.
But is that fair to say that the IBA, that's what they're about, giving these opportunity?
1 minute and 46 seconds of round number 9. Your winner by technical knockout, still undefeated, and the new WBA Continental and IBA PRO Intercontinental Super Lightweight Champion, Hovhannes Bachkov! Is representing legendary Golden Ring Club Dubai, Hovhannes Bachkov.
It's not easy to get those belts on fighters when there's more than one, because they are deceptively heavy. If you've never picked up one of those, you wouldn't quite believe how heavy they are. If you see a picture of a fighter who's undisputed, trying to hold 4 belts in a press conference, you don't want to leave them doing it for too long, because actually it's a lot harder than it looks.
Absolutely, they are. They've got a bit of weight on them, and when you've been through what them two have just been through, yeah, you want that photo overdone quick and soon rather than later.
В первую очередь хочу поблагодарить мистера Кремлева за возможность показать себя в твоем шоу и мистер Сеси. Thank you very much. Да. Приветствую всем участвующим и тех, кто не успел приехать, но они болеют за нас из разных континентов. Хочу поблагодарить своих спонсоров Golden Boxing Ring в Дубае, которые все делают, чтобы спортсмены не тренировались и готовились на 100%. Спасибо Epic Nutrition, добавкам спортивным, что помогает себя чувствовать во время тренировок и до. Хочу спасибо сказать Дубае Авакар, компании, которая предоставляет всем машины качественные. И благодарить всех этих чемпионов, кто пришел сюда. Ваша помощь будет есть в моем победе. Это мне вдохновило. И хочу обязательно поблагодарить мистера президента Федерации бокса Армении, что пришел сюда поддерживать меня и свою команду. Хочу поблагодарить своим тренерам Самвела, Алберта и всю команду Гол. Всех. И слава Богу, спасибо за все.
And we're now going to be treated to some highlights from that contest. So really, you could pick out any spells, any sections from any of those 8.5 rounds that we saw, because it was really entertaining stuff. Bachkov bringing that front foot pressure and Ndongeni trying to find a way to cope with it, which he did for most of the fight, but there were just those spells where Bachkov managed to get on top of him. But He never completely unravelled. He did get a stoppage in the end, but he got back to his feet, and Ndongeni, he did beat the count. He finished the fight on his feet. The towel had come in, and he showed a lot of ability and a lot of pride. Having seen Bachkov probably for the first time from ringside, Spencer, what do you make of him? How far do you think he can go?
I like him. I think that he's got a lot of talent, and I'd love to see him. You know, you talk about the likes of Dalton Smith, you look at those sort of styles, and that's the sort of style that comes to mind when I'm watching Bachkov, and you just go, this kid, you know, with the right opportunity could be a problem. You know, he's got a great shot selection, he controls the space very well, got the short game's very good, you know, and yeah, look at that work. Lovely shot. Like I say, the unpredictability wins, and although he's a walk-forward fighter with his hands held high, he puts the shots together, punches in bunches. There's a lot to like about him, and you think that with consistency and you know, and regular bouts, that he could be a force in the super lightweight division for sure. I liked it. I liked what I saw. Ndongeni, sorry, I really enjoyed. I liked him. He showed a lot of character, and I get where he unravelled there in that 9th round, because I know what happened to him walking back after that 8th round. He thought the fight was done. He'd blown a gasket. He'd left it all in there. That's all he had left. And I get how he unravelled there in that 9th round, but yeah, he was good. It was a good performance overall, and I thought a lot of Bachkov, and I think he's got a bright future. I think that let's hope this kid gets the